A moment ago, even a moment mattered. And after this moment, moments have lost momentum. A very good evening to all the worthy attendees. I, Ritika Malhotra, your host for today, hereby take the privilege of extending a warm welcome and cordial greetings to all the guests present here. The topic under consideration for this lucrative session is certainty in uncertainty. In the current times, when Flipkart has come up with 1 hour delivery, it is possible for anything to change any moment, and certainly, even while this session, a lot may change. Or else, I assure you, after it, something definitely will change within you, which will prepare you to face abrupt changes in the best possible way. Let us now take a forward step and proceed with the introduction of our organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation is recognized as a non-profit organization enlightening the pathways heading towards betterment in education, environment safety, women empowerment, entrepreneurship, health and skills. They create awareness and opportunities to satiate their agenda, all of which circumscribing their noble intention to make lives better. Proceeding further, it's time to know more about our guest of honor, who then may further enlighten us about our topic. I now convey the due respect and my warm regards to Colonel Sanjeet Sarohi, who has served in the Indian Military Academy for 35 years, that is from 1975 to 2009. He is an economics graduate from the prestigious Delhi University. Throughout his career, he has enlightened more than 2,000 students by polishing their soft skills and employability skills. In order to lead the young population and adolescents to a path of self discovery, he has partnered with many reputed CBSE schools and has conducted talks and speeches with them. He has also conducted teachers' motivation and training workshops. To embark on his profession voyage with excellence, he has attended soft skill trainer course from Institute of Image Consulting Business Institute, New Delhi. Throughout his career in training, he has made many significant contributions like the following. He has worked as senior trainer for personality development with Winning Mantra Noida. He also worked as director HR in Institute of Hotel Management, Meerut, for 7 years and was responsible for training and placement of fresh hospitality graduates. He conducts workshops on teachers or faculty development. He also delivers talks during parent-teacher meets in most of the prestigious schools in NCR. His excellent written works are published in Times Plus and Daily World as articles and also as regular blogs based on ideas related to the youth of the country. Further, he also delivered an impactful talk, How the Power of Goal Setting Made Me Successful, on Josh Talks. Besides everything, he also mentors SSB aspirants and conducts SSB classes for ADA 247 Gurugram. Well, that indeed was a lot, and I hope there's a lot more to come. On that note of taking inspiration, I will now respectfully hand the charge over to Sir.
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you very much. Now, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and namaste to all of you, especially my audience from the friendly countries. As already brought out, a lot has been said about me, but one or two things which I want to mention is that I had served in the army for 35 years, that is in the Indian Army. And whatever I am going to talk to you will be basically the lessons which I have learned in the army. And after serving in the army for 35 years, after that, I have served for another 13 years in my second innings. So now I am in my second innings. Now, the talk, when we were discussing that what talk should be given, I was very skeptical about it. That since I am from the army background, I don't know much about the industry. But let me tell you, there are so many lessons which even the industry can learn from it. So with this as a background, I am very grateful to SEMS India for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And in fact, I am honored and delighted. So with this as a background, please fasten your seatbelts and then now we will take off. Certainty in uncertainty. Now, from the army background, we people are always dealing with uncertainty. There is uncertainty of weather, there is uncertainty of nature, there is uncertainty of the terrain, there is uncertainty of the enemy. So we every time, day and night, we are working in uncertainty. And in spite of all this uncertainty, we are always certain, we are always clear, we are always prepared. Now, post COVID-19 or in COVID-19, we must understand what all, it is not the first time this pandemic has taken place, nor it will be the last time. Now, let me show you with the help of a slide. Plague of Justinian came in 541 to 542 AD, where it wiped out 25 million people. Half of the population of Europe was dead. The Black Death, which came in 1346 to 1353. So the Black Death came in 1346 to 1353 for 7 years, which killed 75 to 200 million people in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Flu of 1918 killed 50 to 100 million people. 5.7% population was dead. Asian flu came in 1956 to 58, and there was death of 2 million people. Now, present pandemic, people infected 59 crores, loss of life 64.4 lakhs, depressive disorder and cases of anxiety. Depressive disorder increased by 27.6%. Cases of anxiety increased by 25.6%. Loss of jobs in 2020, 144 million. In 2021, 68 million. Diverse cases increased by 122% in UK, and in US 34%, and the same was the case with China, Sweden, and other countries. So what I want to bring out with the help of these slides is that all these things have happened, they will happen, but we have to be very, very calm and composed about it. Now I'll tell you a story. Now all stories are very interesting if you start with once upon a time. Now once upon a time, there was a king who ordered the goldsmith to prepare for him a signet with a motto that would temper his happiness when he was enjoying good fortune and lift him in spirit when he was despondent. So making a signet was not a problem for a smith. He made that, but the inscription was a problem. Now he was not aware what should he write so that the happiness of the king is tempered and when he is enjoying good fortune, and his spirits are lifted up when he is depressed or despondent. So he went to a sage and asked him that what should I write? Now the sage thought for a while and told him the answer. Now can anybody tell me what could have been the answer given by the sage? So what the sage said, that you write, this too shall pass. Now this too shall pass has got a lot of meaning. Whatever is happened during pandemic or whatever is happening now, this too shall pass. So don't worry about that and let's proceed further. Now uncertainty. Now as I told you, uncertainty is one thing which is not going to leave you. It is going to be with you. And as already brought out by Ritika Malhotra, that even after you have attended this class, the things will change. And I can assure you they will change for better. Now, as I said, that in the army, we are we are working in very uncertain environment. And I'm going to tell you a story of a young man, a young officer. During 1999 Kargil war, this young officer was serving in Kargil. And next day, he was supposed to go for an attack on a hill feature where the Pakistan army had taken a position. Now, as most of you must be aware that in Kargil war, there was total uncertainty at all levels. People were not even aware who is the enemy, where is it located, when did he come, what weapons he is holding, where is he deployed. The weather was bad, the terrain was very inhospitable. In spite of all these difficulties, this young man of not even 21 years old, he wrote a letter one day prior to going for an attack. And he knew fully well that he is not going to come back. Now, what was the letter? This letter, if you read, and if you keep this thing in your mind, that this boy was going for an attack without even knowing whether he will come back or not, but still had so much of uncertainty in uncertainty. I want you to show this letter. You may not be able to read it. I'll read it for you. This is what the original letter is. Now I will show you the photocopy of that. Dear Papa, Mama, and Granny, by the time you get this letter, you will be observing from observing me from the sky, enjoying the hospitality of the Apsaras. I have no regrets. In fact, even I become a human again, I will join the army and fight for my nation. If you can, please come and see where Indian army fought for you tomorrow. As far as the unit is concerned, the new chaps, that is the new entry, should be told about this sacrifice. I hope my photo will be kept in the Alpha Company Monday. Whatever organs can be taken should be done, should be taken from me. Contribute some money to orphanage and keep on giving rupees 50 to Ruxana. Ruxana was a small child whose father was killed by the terrorist per month and meet Yogi Baba. Best of luck to Bindya. Never forget this sacrifice of men. You should feel proud. Mama, so should you meet so and so. First, he wrote name of the girlfriend, and after that, he scratched it, whom he loved. Mama ji, forgive me for everything wrong I did. Okay, then it is time for me to join my clan of dirty dozen. That is what my assault troops has. That is the total spirit chaps. And best of luck to you all. Live life king size, yours, Robin. Now, this letter, if you see, the boy of 21 years old, who is not sure of his tomorrow, is going for an attack. He is talking in such a calm and composed manner. He is talking of donating his organs. He is talking of contributing some money to the orphanage. He is talking of contributing 50 rupees per month to a small child whose father was killed by the terrorist. He is talking about the people who will be joining the unit to be told how the unit fought in this Kargil war. So this is the height of certainty for any individual. We all are always worried about pandemic and other things, uncertainties, what are happening in our daily life. But I don't think any uncertainty can be so serious than this uncertainty which this boy faced. Now, why change scares us and why it should? Haven't most of us in our life tried to make a change? And that was positive, constructive, and enriching. Yet, we were the one who always behaved in such a manner, in a self-defeating manner, that all that change which we wanted, we never changed. Some changes are forced upon us. We can understand that. Obviously, we will resist to that, but knowing fully well that in the end, we are going to change. But how about a change which we ourselves want and we truly want those change? Why do we resist those kind of change? In spite of sincere intention and being highly motivated. Psychologist Robert Johnson tells us a story in one of his books where he talks about a very excitable young man who wanted to become a therapist. And after 6 months of analysis, he went to his senior therapist and started shouting that Tony, it is too terrible. Tony said, what is it? Is there a bad news? To which that student replied, just leave me alone. It is awful. My neurosis is gone. How am I going to live now? Now you may laugh at this, but it starkly illustrates one simple fact that how abandoning one's old way of adaptation is very bad news, even if it is replaced by better ones. I'll tell you another story, which was written by Charles Dickens. He talks about a prisoner who was sentenced to a jail and he used to stay in a dungeon cell. After his sentence was over, he got a freedom. He was taken out of the jail and brought out in a broad daylight, bright light in the open world. He looked around and after some time, he felt very uncomfortable. He asked the jail authorities, requested them to take him back to his cell because that cell, with all the darkness, changed. He was feeling secure, he was feeling familiar, and he was very, very comfortable. So both these stories, they tell us that whenever any change takes place, even when it change is better for us, we normally resist. Now, why do we resist? This is a very, very important question, especially those changes which we know they are good for us. So let us first understand that resistance is a normal psychological reaction to change. And sometimes it can be self-protection mechanism. So if resistance to change is such a common experience, then why does it feel so frightening and uncomfortable? Now let us understand with the help of slide. Sometimes our fears are linked to our vagueness about the change. We are very vague. We don't know what the change is. And since it is vague, we are frightful about that change. Number two, we also need to pay attention to how our brain works. That is very, very important. Because if we understand, then we will also understand why we are frightened by the change, and then we can do something about it. Innately wired to protect us, it responds to repeated stimuli by forming neurological pathway or the known path. And more you respond to those stimuli, they become wide and they become stronger. Now, they become responsible for the fixed specific responses. Now, when you attempt to change your behavior, when you start doing something which is unknown, the brain signals fear. So, if whatever you are doing and you are doing the same thing what you were doing earlier, then there is no fear. But once you start changing yourself, then because you are now going through the unknown path, your brain signals fear. Third is the fear is largely about uncertainty. Outcomes cannot be predicted. We do not know exactly what particular change will bring about. And because of that, we fear, and the fear is of unknown. Uncertainty is supposed to be, it has been proved, the biggest stumbling block on our way. As a result, the uncertainty breeds fear. Last is that people around us and we ourselves doubt us. People around us, they tell us we can't do it. We ourselves doubt. We think we can't do it. We will give it up and we don't deserve better. So if that is the case, then what do? How do we face the fear? Or how do we face this change? I'll tell you 4 ways. And if you adopt those ways, your fear for a change will go away. Now, what are those? First is reframe uncertainty to curiosity, which would inspire you to act differently. And to do that, ask yourself these questions. What will happen if I do change? What will happen if I don't change? Third is, what won't happen if I change? And last is, what won't happen if I don't change? So, if you ask these questions, and I will suggest to you that you write the responses of these questions. And once you write these responses of those questions, you will be very, very clear about the change. And once you are clear about the change, you will see yourself that you will not feel scared. In fact, you will try to embrace the change. Number 2 is create new neural pathways through persistent action supported by determination to change. So what should we do if we are following something earlier and we want to change that? Then we must change our behavior and keep on repeating it. That's why they say that if you want to imbibe some new habit, adopt some new habit, you must do it for minimum 21 days. Someone says 21 days, someone says 60 days. Well, the point is that you must repeatedly do it. And if you repeatedly do it, you will be making your neural pathways, which will be known pathway for your brain, and you will not be scared. Third is view as a challenge. Now, what happens is our perspective of change determines how we are going to behave. If we view our change as if we view change as a fear, we'll be reluctant to do anything about it. But if you view the change as a challenge, then you will realize the day you decide that you are going to challenge the change, you will get courage, you will get determination, and you will get encouragement to do the task, and you will be surprised by the result. I can assure you that. Now I will tell you 8 mantras, or you can call it 8 commandments. If you follow that, I can assure you, you will be certain in uncertainty. You will be prepared for any adversity. It can be anything. It can be natural, it can be man-made or anything. you will be prepared for that. First is we have to accept challenge and prepare ourselves. I'll tell you how to prepare ourselves. Number two is become an intentional learner. Number three, take 100% responsibility for your life. Number four, anchor on your values. Number five, build and maintain relationship. Number six, adopt positive attitude. Number seven, indulge in various physical activities in the morning. Very, very important. And that is what army is proud of it. What is keeping the army fighting fit all the time? And last is sleeping well. You will be amazed when I tell you that by sleeping well, you will be able to learn more, you will be able to prepare more. Now, let's take them one by one. Accept change as a challenge and prepare yourself. In spite of the fact that change is undeniable and also it is energizing part of our life, you will find people scared of change. Fear of change is rampant across the world, and knowing fully well that the world is undergoing an incredible change. Far too many people are intimidated by change, and as a result, they are eliminated by change. They spend too much time on their seats instead of on their toes, which is the requirement for a change. Number three, they just do enough to get by, and then it is bye-bye. And last is, if you cannot embrace change, you don't see life as a continued self-education. Very, very important. Life is continued self-education. And let me tell you, I am 67 years old, I am still learning, and I'll keep on learning. Now, let us see what is the present scenario of this job world. Peter Drucker, a famous author and a social philosopher, writes that we are in the age of social transformation. Now, what does he mean by social transformation is that the dominant group nowadays are the knowledge workers as compared to industrial workers and agriculture workers who were dominating the previous decades. Jobs in coming years will require a new approach to work and new mindset. Job in coming years will require habit of continuous learning. This is very, very important. No longer will the majority of people earn their living by the sweat of their brow. That time is over. People will gain access to jobs and social positions. Let me say again, even to social positions, less through their formal education and more from advanced knowledge. And let me tell you, this advanced knowledge is not going to come from the schools and colleges. This advanced knowledge will be in terms of soft skills, which nowadays are not soft skills, they are hard skills. They are like umbrella. You will require them both during rain and during sun. So you have to have that type of knowledge if you want to survive in this changing world. The whole structure of workforce is changing. The 40-40 era is over. Now, what is 40-40 era? 40-40 era is you work for 40 hours in a week for 40 years and then you retire. No job is going to be there for you for 40 years. The jobs are going to change after 1 or 2 years. Either you will change or the employer will change you. So you must always keep that thing in mind. Now, in spite of employer holding personal development seminars to develop the skills of their employees, to make them more valuable in the market and to help them to do their best, the employees are just warming their seats. That is not going to work anymore. You can't get away with this attitude anymore. Now, due to frequent changes in company strategies, the concept of the family work environment are rapidly in decline. That family work environment is not going to work now. And let me tell you, in coming years, 65% of the jobs will be permanent part-time slots. That means the competition will be so much that the candidates will be bidding for the job. And that time is not too far. So if you are the one who feels that I am happy in my present job, why should I look for opportunities? Then you are highly mistaken. And please change your course, change your thinking. Now, if this is what is happening in the job world, how do we prepare ourselves? First of all, think of yourself as an independent contractor. where your value is constantly being measured. If you think you yourself to an independent contractor, you know how the independent contractor works. He keeps on increasing his value, and that is why he stays in the market. So you have to increase your market value. Then only people will hire you, otherwise no. Number two, in this environment, master as many talents and as much knowledge as possible. The person who welcomes change and believes in continuous learning lives a dynamic life. But the person who is scared of change or who backs away from change will find himself on the human scrap heap. Either you expand or you become expendable. And last but not least, as I said, don't be in this impression that you have got a good job. Why should I look for something else? Let me tell you, the job guarantee is no more there. There is no security for job. You may lose the job tomorrow. So to make sure that you are prepared adequately makes yourself invaluable and multifaceted. So this was the challenge part, the job world, how is it working and how it is changing, and how you should embrace this change and keep on working towards yourself to improve, to make yourself more worthwhile, to make yourself more valuable in the market. So for that, you have to learn, you have to believe in continued self-education. So with that, we come to the third, that is the second important mantra, become an intentional learner. Now, let me tell you a very, very interesting thing about this. The people think or they assume that we automatically grow. When we are children, our bodies grow automatically. We become taller, we become stronger, we are able to do so many new things, and we are able to face the challenges. But when we move on to the adulthood, we carry the same belief, subconscious belief, that we will improve mentally, spiritually, emotionally in a similar pattern. That is what the problem is. The time is going, by time, we will simply get better. The problem is that we don't improve by simply living. We have to be intentional. We have to be intentional about it, because no one improves by accident. Personal growth doesn't just happen on its own. You have to take complete control, ownership of the growth process. If you want to improve your life, you have to improve yourself, and you must make that conscious goal. Now, the question comes is, how can we change our thinking and our action? How do we push forward and be able to learn more? Most experts believe that on an average, any human being uses only 10% of his potential, and it has been proved by research. It is very unfortunate, but we are only using 10% of our potential. So that means there is a vast scope to improve ourselves. That is, we have got 90% more to improve upon. So how do we tap this unused 90%? The answer is found in changing how we think and changing what we do. So let's see, how can we change what we think? So the first is, how do we change our thinking? How do we increase our thinking capacity? That is number one issue. First is, stop thinking more work and start thinking what works. You ask anybody that how will you increase your capacity? All people will say that we will increase our capacity by working hard. But that is not the solution. Because if you're working hard, you're not increasing the capacity. You are only producing more what you were producing earlier. So you have more of same what you were having earlier. But the problem is that you must have what better of what you were having earlier. Now, to figure out what should we do, you ask yourself three questions, very simple questions. What am I required to do? Very simple. Anybody can answer that. What gives the greatest return? Another very simple answer. And what gives me the greatest reward? Return is what you are getting every day, and reward is what you will get in the long term. So if you focus on the answers of these three questions which I have just mentioned, you will pay your attention and you will know what you must do, what you ought to do, and what you really want to do. That is very, very important. So ask these three questions, focus on the answer, and once you focus on the answer, you will get what you must do, what you ought to do, and what you really want. Please switch off your audio, please. Please mute yourself. Audio. Number two, stop thinking can I, start thinking how can I. This is very, very important. Now, if you look at these two questions, can I and how can I, initially at first glance, you will find similarity into it. You will say that these are the same questions. But let me tell you, they are world apart. When you say, can I, you are filled with hesitation and doubt. Moment you say, can I, you are filled with hesitation and doubt. It is a question that is imposing limitation on you. If that is the question you are asking regularly yourself, then you are undermining your efforts before you have even begun. That is the biggest disadvantage. So don't ask how can I, don't ask can I, always ask how can I. When you ask yourself how can I, you give yourself a fighting chance to achieve something. It tells you something that you can achieve. And once you do that, I can assure you, you will be able to achieve. Most of the people, they don't overcome their odds. Why? Because they don't challenge themselves. They don't test their limits. They don't push their capacity. So you must always ask, how can I? Don't ask, can I? All these things, what I am telling you, they are going to increase your thinking capacity. Like I said, if you want to improve on your learning, if you want to, you must increase your thinking capacity. Next is stop thinking about one door and start thinking about many doors. Now you cannot bank upon one door for your growth. You have to find answers from multiple sources. You have to consider many possibilities. You have to consider multiple answers. You have to think in terms of options. And if you think about multiple doors instead of one door of your learning, then the lessons, I also started lately this concept of multiple doors. And I can assure you, I have learned a number of things. And let me list them out for you. There is more than one way to do something successful. 100% I am telling you. The odds of arriving anywhere increases with creativity and adaptability. If you are creative in your approach and you are adaptable to changes, then you will be arriving, you will be overcoming all the odds. Movement with intentionality create possibility. If you are moving with a goal, and let me tell you, all people who move with a goal, they are the happiest people in the world. And that research has also proved. Next is, knowing the future is difficult, controlling the future is impossible. We must admit that. Knowing today is essential, controlling today is possible. So, if you know today, you will be able to control it. So, start knowing today. Next, we move on. How to increase your capacity for actions. Stop doing all those things you have done before and start doing those things you could and should do. Let me repeat once again because this is very, very important. And if you follow that, I can assure you, you will do wonders in this world. Stop doing all those things you have done before. Start doing those things you could and should do. Now, how do you do that? Then we will see, stop doing what is expected and start doing more what is expected. Stop doing doing important things occasionally and start doing important things daily. Now, the first thing what I discussed was stop doing all those things you have done before and start doing those things you could and should do. First step towards success is becoming good at what you know how to do. So you must do what you know how to do. More you do what you know, the more you will discover what you could do. Let me explain again because it may sound very confusing. First step is you start doing what you know how to do. Period. Once you have stopped doing what you know, more you do what you know, the more you will discover what you could do. Now you have got decision to make. Will you continue doing what you have always done, or will you try new things? Now, if you continue doing what you have already done, then there will be no improvement, there will be no learning. But if you try new things, It will lead to innovation and new discoveries. And this will lead to realization of things you should do on consistent basis. Once you know what you should do on consistent basis, it will straight away take you to growth and expansion of your life and your personal growth. Now, next we come to stop doing what is expected and start doing more than is expected. Now, we are living in a culture where the trophies are given to simply to those people regardless of their contribution. What is required is that the person must come to the office and in time and go back in at right time, not before that. So what a lot of people are thinking is that they are expected to do this much only. So if you do this much only, then there is no growth. So if you want to stand out, if you want to be noticed, and if you want to be distinguished, and if you want to advance your career, you have to rise above average. And how do we rise above average? You can do this by asking more of yourself than others ask of you. You can start expecting more of you than others expect of you. You should start believing more in yourself than others believe in you. You must start doing more than what others think that you must do. You must start giving more than what others expect you to do. And you must start helping more what others help you to do. So if you want to rise above average, if you want to become distinguished person, if you want to be noticed, then you have to do more than what is expected out of you. Third, and another well important thing is stop doing important things occasionally and start doing important things daily. Now you must heard of an expression which says that life is a great canvas and you should throw all the paints on it that you can. Now the intention and the exuberance is understandable, is quite high, but it is not a good advice because if you do that, you are only creating a mess. What you are supposed to do is, if you want to make your life masterpiece, is that you must have clear idea, you should give much thought, and you must come to a stage of selection where you decide which paint should be put on the canvas. And how do you do that? By doing important things every day. Now, what else can you do? First, doing important things every day. Advancing confidently in the directions of one dream means doing what is important every day. So, if you want to achieve your dream and you want to advance confidently towards your dream, then you must do something important every day. To do what's not important every day does nothing. It merely uses your time. To do the right things occasionally does not lead to consistent growth and expansion of your life. Very, very important. If you want to grow, then you have to expand your life. Daily growth leads to personal expansion. Both components, growth and expansion, are very, very important for you. And last but not least is you have the potential to keep moving, making progress until the day you die, if you have the right attitude about growth. So this was, I was talking about the intentional learning. Now we move on to other important aspect, taking 100% responsibility. There is only one person who is responsible for your life, and that is you. If you want to be certain in uncertain times, and you want to become successful, you have to take 100% responsibility for everything you experience in your life. This includes the level of your achievements, the results you produce, the quality of the relationship, the state of your health and physical fitness, your income, your debt, your feelings, everything. But it is not easy because most of us are conditioned to blame something outside of ourselves for a life which we don't like. We blame our parents, we blame our bosses, we blame our friends, our co-workers, our clients, our spouse, the weather, economy, astronomical chart, lack of money, anything on everything we can pin the blame on. We never want to look at where the real problem is, that is ourselves. I'll tell you a story. There was a man who was walking out one night and he saw an old man looking for something under a lamp post, under a street lamp. He went there and he asked this old man, what was he trying to search. The old man said, I have lost my key. So this young man thought that it will be a good idea to help the old man. So he also got down on his knees and started looking for the key. After looking for about 1 hour, he asked the gentleman, Sir, are you sure that you lost your key here? The old man answered, No, I lost my key in the house, but there is more light under the street lamp. That is what is happening in our lives. We are looking outside ourselves. It is high time that we answer the question why we haven't created the life we wanted, the result we wanted. And if you want to create that life which you want and the result you want, then you must take responsibility for your life. Dr. Robert Resnick, a psychotherapist in Los Angeles, gave a very, very simple formula. And that formula is event plus response is equal to outcome. Now, if the outcome is not as per your desire, it is not as per your liking, then you have got two options. Either you blame the event or you change your reaction. Most of us, we blame the event. We blame weather, we blame government, we blame pandemic, we blame our boss, we blame everyone. All these things, they matter, but they are not limiting factors. If they were limiting factors, then no one would have succeeded in this world. So these should not be limiting factor for you also. What is required is change of your response. If you change your response, if you change your thinking, your attitude, your behavior, then I can assure you, you will be able to change yourself. But there is another aspect to it, which I want to cover. There are certain things on which you have control, on which you have influence. You must do your best in those aspects of life. But there are certain other things in life which you have no control. So if that be the case, then what should you do about those things? Now, let me explain to you with the help of a very, very interesting example. And that is, think about water skiing. Now, when you are in perfect balance, holding the tow rope behind the boat, all is well. You don't have any influence over the boat other than your communication with the pilot of the boat. If the pilot does not pay attention to you, all you can do is to hold on to the tow rope. But if holding on to the tow rope is making you imbalanced, losing your balance, and you are likely to be dragged by the boat, then what is the option? Then at that point of time, the option is to let it go. Same thing should be applicable to our life. This is what you have to do to our in life situation, which you had yourself being dragged by the circumstances which are beyond your control. When you do that, what happens? You give yourself permission to fail and recover from failure. You recognize the situation as bad one and you get out painlessly as you can with your dignity intact. Mind you, your dignity intact. You are also letting go of embarrassment and self-doubt, resulting in recovering more quickly, very fast. In letting go of bad circumstances outside your control, you reassert your control and you are no longer dragged, you are moving on your own path. So this you must always remember. Take responsibility for the things which are under your control, under your influence. But if the things are not going as per your liking and they are beyond your control, then you must let it go. Next is anchor on your values, very, very important. I have to rush now because of the paucity of time, but I will cover the important points. Now, anchoring on values, why it is important is because this is one thing which will take you during uncertainty, during adversities. What do you do when you cannot control important aspects of your life? Another question, how do you respond when your carefully laid out plan turns to a chaos? How do you stay in control of your life and your emotions in times of crisis? Often the recourse is to check your value system, to anchor yourself, anchor yourself to those values that guide your life while the storm is swirling around you. You may not always win, but in the end, you will be the winner because you have not sold out your values and beliefs that make you what you are, where your values are not being given by the government, nor by the religious leaders, nor by the social reformers, and not even your boss has assigned those values to you. Those values are your values based on your life experiences, based on the way your family lives, and the path you have instinctively chosen or rejected. The fundamental values are hope, faith, persistence, integrity, decency, and patience, and you can add more. Now, what does this value do to you? Our values gives consistency in the way we approach our life. We feel certain about our life when there is uncertainty around us. By centering our lives on the belief, we ensure that we can always find our balance and our way no matter what life throws at us. By holding to our beliefs, we can always stay on track towards certainty. To fulfill our lives, we have to live like Nelson Mandela lived. I'll repeat, if we want to fulfill our lives, we should live like the life Nelson Mandela lived, committed to our values and willing to take stand in our lives. There will be always be defeat and failures. There will be sometimes temptation to sell out. Now, what can be those temptations? Some people will sell out due to fear. Some will sell out to laziness and life mediocrity. Some will sell out in adversity and uncertainty. Some will sell out to drug and alcohol. Some of us will sell out to remain in comfort zone, unwilling to change and learn. Others will sell out to their own principles in order to move ahead. The price of selling out is very, very high. Whenever you think your odds are overpowering you, you must always think about Nelson Mandela. If he can go from prisoner to president, anchoring on his value system in the face of powerful enemies, surely we can stand by the things we believe in during difficult and challenging time in our lives. So follow what Nelson Mandela followed. He was in jail for 27 and a half years, and that was a rigorous imprisonment. It is not easy. He was humiliated. He was tortured. He was treated very, very badly, but still he survived. And why he survived and how he survived was only because of the value system on which he was anchoring. If you anchor on value system, you will be able to locate your center of your fortune wheel, where all your aspects of life will be focused. But on the other hand, if you are located on the rim of your fortune wheel, you will be going up and down. So better is you anchor on your value system. As a result, you will be focused on the center of the wheel and you will always remain focused, certain during uncertainty times. Next, we move on to another important aspect, building and maintaining relationship. When lockdown started, family thought that now we all are going to stay together and we will have a good time. But as I showed you in the statistics, the divorce cases increased in UK, USA, China, Sweden, and most of the countries. Relationship went bad. So what is important about relationship? I'll just briefly touch upon. Firstly, building and maintaining relationship is critical to social development within your family and within your community. When we grow up, we are focusing on knowledge, but we are not focusing in studying relationship and ways to make them work. So much is trial and error and more emphasis on error. Too many of us arrive at adulthood with the concept that we will grow as we are growing. But no, you have to nurture your relationship, you have to maintain your relationship. And to maintain your relationship, communication is very, very vital. Men in particular are not very good in communication. We are more interested on the social platforms, on social media, looking for the likes, but we are not communicating with our near and dear ones. If we do that, our relationship will always be healthy. It will never get stale, hostile, and never die. Let me tell you, it is not the differences that get in the way of our relationship with others. It is the tolerance or the intolerance. We become intolerant of others. And as a result, our relationship goes down. And last but not the least is what matters most is respecting each other. Mutual respect is very, very important if you want to nurture your relationship and if you want to maintain your relationship. Adopt positive attitude. Very important. I think everything depends on positive attitude. Ability teaches us how we do. Motivation determines why we do, but attitude decides how well we do. Now, let me tell you another story. I'll just take another 10 minutes. There was a man who used to sell balloon in the air, balloon at fair. He had balloon of many colors, yellow, red, green, purple, all types of balloons. And whenever business was slow, he would release a helium-filled balloon. And whenever the children used to see balloon going up, they used to rush to this balloon seller and used to buy a balloon. So this was his modus operandi. Whenever the sales used to go down, he used to release one balloon. And as a result, his sales used to go up. One day, he realized that somebody is tucking in his jacket, and he saw a small child who asked him that if you release a black balloon, will that also fly? Moved by the boy's concern, the balloon seller told him, son, it is not the color of the balloon. It is what inside that makes it go up. So is in our life. It is what is inside us that makes us to go up. And what is inside us counts as the attitude. Harvard study has found that 85% of the people who get a job and who get promotion are the people who have a positive attitude. And only 15% of the people get their job or promotion based on their knowledge about the facts and figures in specific subjects. So don't you think it is very, very surprising and very unfortunate that 100% of our money spent on education gives us only 15% of chances of success in life. Rest 85% depends on the attitude. So gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the attitude is a choice and that choice is with you. And let me explain to you with the help of a very, very simple example, and that example is of an ant. If you follow the attitude of an ant, I can assure you, you will be the most successful person in the world. Now, what is the philosophy or what is the attitude of an ant? Ant never sits idle. They are very, very hardworking. You will never find an ant sitting idle because they are very hardworking. Ants never quit. They persist. If you try to block their way, they will go up, they will go down, they will go sideways. They will keep on trying to overcome that obstacle. And how long will they try? They will keep on trying. You will get fed up, but they will not get fed up. They will keep on trying. So should us. Whenever we find obstacle, the first thing we do is we accept it and we forget about it. Number 3, ants are far-sighted. They don't think only about summer in summer. They think about winter in summer. They prepare for the winter, and that is why they are in rush throughout the summer seasons. Next is ants has a work-life balance. They know when to work, they know when to rest. During summer, they are working, and during winters, they are relaxing, they are resting, they are not wasting their energy. They are in hibernation. Ants are purpose-driven. They don't get distracted. They have their purpose, they follow it. And ants can carry a big responsibility. They can handle up to 100 times their body weight. Can you handle 100 times your body weight? No. But ant can handle. So what is this all mean? They are hardworking, they are purpose-driven, they are far-sighted, they don't quit, they maintain great work and life balance. So if you follow the philosophy of the ant, and if you know that this choice is with you, then you can change your life at this present moment only. And as William James of Harvard University said, that greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. There is no doubt on that. Now, I'll just briefly touch upon the physical activity. Because being in the army, we are very proud to be physically fit. You must begin your day with intense exercise. This is not negotiable. Training vigorously in the morning is a game changer. Moving vigorously after you wake up will generate alchemy in your brain based on your neurobiology, which will not only wake you up, It will electrify your focus and energy. It will amplify your self-discipline, and it will launch your day in a way that makes you feel on fire. Cortisol is the hormone of fear. It is made in the cortex of the adrenal gland and then it is released into the blood. Cortisol is one of the main material that stunts your genius and devastates your implicit opportunity to make history. Scientific data has confirmed that this cortisol is highest in the morning. And when you exercise in the morning, the level of cortisol goes down. And therefore, you dial up in top performance. Science has shown that there is a direct relationship between the physical activity and the cognitive ability. When you do physical activity, your brain discharges a chemical which is known as brain derived neurotrophic factor, which is known as BDNF. Now, what does BDNF does? BDNF makes new neurons strong and healthy. It protects the injured neurons, make them connect to other neurons, so you think better and process faster. It also acts like a food for synapses and dendritic spines, making them grow larger. We will be talking about that slightly later. It supercharges the organ of the day. BDNF has been shown to repair brain cell damaged by stress. It also promotes neurogenesis, so you will actually grow new brain cells. The boost on norepinephrine that fierce morning activity generates not only improves your attention, it leaves you significantly more serene. Exercising also increases your dopamine and your serotonin. Dopamine, as we all know, is a neurotransmitter of drive, and serotonin gives you happiness. Intense exercises cleanses cortisol, BDNF flows, dopamine rises, serotonin increase, metabolism elevates. More focus, more productivity, more focus, brain is optimized, energy grows, there is a less stress, and you live long life. Lastly, we come to sleep world. Well, let me tell you, we are in the midst of ferocious global sleep recession. The social media and widespread absorption with our devices are fueling much of it. Blue light emitted from our tools of technology reduces the amount of melatonin with us, which regulates our sleep. Checking your gadgets all day long impairs cognitive function. Being front of screen before bedtime causes sleep dysfunctions. Light of your devices activate photoreceptors called intrinsically photosensitive hereditary ganglion cell, which negatively affect your circadian rhythm when it hurts your sleep. It gives you better learning. I will skip these because of the positive time. It makes room for new learning. Brain stays in optimum condition. It increases your mood, cognition, energy level, lean muscle mass, and reducing your cravings. And lastly, expands your creativity, productivity, vitality, and longevity. Now, before I end, I want to tell you a story. And I want you to pay special attention to it. Years ago, a farmer owned a land along the Atlantic coast. He constantly advertised for hired hand. However, most of the people they rejected the offer because along the Atlantic coast there were awful storms that raged along and created havoc on the buildings and crops. One day, the farmer was interviewing the applicants for the job, and he was receiving steady stream of refusal. One gentleman, thin, short, who had crossed his mid-age level, approached him for a job. Farmer asked him, "How good you are in farming?" That gentleman, little man, said that I can sleep when the wind blows. Now the farmer was puzzled, but because he was not getting anyone else, so he had this person. One day, and this person was doing a fantastic job, good job, and farmers were very happy about it. He was satisfied. One night, there was a storm. The farmer, he ran out of his bed, went to the sleeping quarters of this little man and shook him and yelled at him that get up, storm is coming, tie things down before they blow away. The little man rolled over his bed and said firmly, "No, sir, told you I can sleep when the wind blows. The farmer was disgusted. He was tempted. There was a temptation to fire him there and then, but instead he went out to see how the things are. But when he went out, he saw that all haystack was covered with tarpaulin, all cow was in the barn, all chickens were in the coop, all doors were barred, the shutters were tightly secured, everything was tied down, and nothing could blow away. The farmer then understood what this man meant when he said that I can sleep when the wind blows. So this farmer also went and he also went to sleep. Now, when you are prepared physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you have got nothing to fear. So, my dear friends, after this talk, I hope you all are prepared and you will also be able to sleep when the wind blew. Thank you very much. I have finished. I will take on any questions if you have. I will go to the chat box and see if there are any questions.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, this is Francis. I am from Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to ask a question. If you can give me maybe an example of a habit or a good mindset to face this uncertainty.
Happy mindset.
Yeah, a habit, maybe a habit or a mindset that I should do on a daily basis to face the uncertainties.
Okay. Now, if you thank you very much for asking a question, because whenever anybody asks questions from the audience, I feel very happy about it, because I feel at least there is one person who was listening to me and is asking me a question. Thank you very much. I'm so glad. Now, let me tell you, whatever I have told you 8 things. Out of that, I will just focus on 2 or maximum 3 things to make you happy. Whatever are the circumstances, and since I am from the army background, and I have seen a lot of ups and downs, lot of uncertainties, and lot of stress, where the things, nature problem, enemy problem, insurgency problem, so many things. But let me tell you, do 2, 3 things. First is, never miss your physical activity, irrespective of wherever you are, whatever you are doing, however busy you are. Never leave your physical activity. You will find in the armed forces of any country, physical activity is a must. And if you are physically active, like I told you, your cortisol level goes up, your serotonin increase, and as a result, you become happy. Number 1. Number 2, sleep well. Don't waste time. I will not say waste time. Don't devote too much time on your devices, electronic devices, because that is going to impair your thinking. That is going to create problems for your sleeping part. Number 3, always maintain good relationship with your near and dear ones in all uncertainty, in all adversity. And last but not least, you must anchor on your values. What do you think all those great leaders who have gone through all this, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and other people, how did they manage? Nelson Mandela, how could he survive for 27 and a half years in a rigorous imprisonment? How could he keep himself happy? Let me tell you, his room was not more than 8 feet by 6 feet. But every day he used to do physical activity. He used to do minimum 200 sit-ups and 200 bench stretches. So these 3, 4 things, if you, and lastly, as we in India are very proud of it, that is our yoga, do meditation. If you do these 4, 5 things, I can assure you, you will be happy in all uncertainty and in all adversity. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, that was meaningful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please do that. And I can assure you, you just follow this for 1 month. I will not talk what other people are talking about. Just follow what I have told you for 1 month. And I can assure you, you can take my email address from the people here and they will be able to tell you. You can give me the feedback. I'll be very happy.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I've got one question from Mr. Manoranjan Sahu. How to maintain and retain positive attitude, because after some day it gets away. Now, let me tell you, this positive attitude is not one thing which you have to one day you decide I'll have positive attitude, and then you will continue having a positive. You have to work on it every day. Every day, I can assure you, there'll be ups and downs. I'm not saying that every time you will be positive, because the circumstances does not remain same. But you have to make it a habit. And once you make it a habit of keeping positive attitude, then I can assure you after some time you will have positive attitude. I know that initially, even if I tell you you have positive attitude, it is not all that easy. But all the good things, they don't come easy. You have to work for that. And positive attitude with your motivation. If you are motivated on what you're doing, if your motive is great, then automatically the positive attitude will come in. Reading a book is very good habit, and one must read good book. It could be self-improvement book, it could be a spiritual book, it could be any book which will give you a good sleep.
So actually, there's a question.
Yeah. I mean, if I do read a book for each night before going to sleep, how long will I be reading before going to sleep? Well, you must read minimum 15 to 20 pages. 15 to 20 pages every night before you go to sleep will not only give you a good night's sleep, but it will connect you to the author at subconscious level. And I can assure you, I'm not talking about religious about it. I'm talking about spiritual. If you read a book from a good author, and it is not only reading a book, it is also after reading few pages, you must reflect on what you have read. And once that you can call as a reflection, or you can call as an active recall, and you reflect on what you have read and then go to sleep. And once you go to sleep, I can assure you, your subconscious mind will get connected to the author energy. And in the morning, when you will get up, you will find yourself to be a much better person. Because we all are working on the energy, and that energy is coming from the universe. So if you get connected with good people, you will get positive energy. If you get connected with negative people, you will get negative energy. Techniques to take decision. Kartika Agarwal has said techniques to make decision making effectively. Not technique, although it is subject by itself, but let me tell you, if you want to take a decision on certain things, firstly you have to decide what are the things on which you have to take a decision. What are the priorities? What are the resources available to you? What is the time available to you? Just think about four things. Your problem, if you can prioritize your problem, number two. Number three, if you have got resources, you must identify the resources which you have, and then you must know how much time is available to you. If you have these four things with you, then you will be able to take the decision very effectively and in a very short time. And that is what we teach in the army, because we are in the armed forces, you have to take decision in milliseconds, in minutes. There is no one to tell you what to do. But we do these four things and we take decision, and most of the time we take the right decision. Thank you, Frankis. Thank you very much. It was great honor interacting with you. Now, since you all mentioned it a while ago, and we know that they can use a simulation, my question right now, how can we leaders deal with uncertainty in taking decisions? Well, as a leader, most of the things which I have told you, whether you are a leader or you are following someone, they will help you out. But leader jobs become more important, because if the leader is uncertain in uncertain time, then let me assure you, nobody is going to follow you. You should be the first person. You should set an example by doing all this, what I have told you. There were two more things which I wish I had more time, which I could have discussed with you. That was trusting in a God and emotional independence. These two things are very, very important. You have to be emotionally independent. Most of us, we are looking towards others for their approval. And if we don't get right approval, or if we don't get the right feedback, we get dejected. You must have seen that if you get 100 positive remarks from someone for doing something, and if there is one person who gives you negative remark, you will forget about the 100 positive remarks, and you will always remember the negative remark. So that is where I want to tell you, the leadership, you should be the first one to adopt whatever I have told you. And once you do that, then I can tell you, the people, when they know that you are certain, when they know that you are confident, when you know that you have the positive attitude, then you will be able to lead the team. irrespective of the level you are. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, Madan Betha. Thank you very much. It was a great interacting with you all. If there are no more questions, then I hand over back to Ritika Malhotra for the final words. Thank you very much. It was nice. And I once again convey my gratitude to SEMS for giving me this opportunity for interacting with such people from diverse background. Thank you very much.
That indeed provided us a new perspective, sir. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Colonel Sanjeet Sirohi for enkindling within us a sense of willingness to make things better. It's difficult to ever be thankful enough for the greatest gift of wisdom that we have been provided by you. And please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel.